Welcome to Curated by Culture. I'm your curator, Cassandra. Thank you as always for joining me. Let's get straight into it. How's your head? How's your heart? Please don't forget to check in with yourself. Don't forget to check in with the people you love and care about as well. Um, I hope you guys are good. I was just sitting here and I was like, let me record an episode. So I was having a conversation just about the world around us, what's going on, the lack of awareness, the lack of understanding that a lot of people have right now in this moment. And in the conversation, I started talking about, money and understanding our power and stuff like that. And I thought it would be a good discussion. So here I am. Um, if you follow my social media accounts, a few months ago, July to be exact, I posted about the black dollar in this country specifically. And I talked about how we spend $1 trillion on goods and services, which fuels a big chunk of that part of the economy, right? There's other things like, real estate, pensions, that there's all sorts of different industries, but in goods and services alone, Black people spent $1 trillion. But with the exception of our handful of greedy Black billionaires, we are not all walking around with the most wealth. We are actually very close towards the bottom, unfortunately. And we don't understand collectively our power. We don't understand the mental slavery tricks that have been played or have been done on us to understand our power. And that's so unfortunate. Willie Lynch has talked about that, the mental slavery of a lot of us and what holds us back. But I think about, especially now, like with everything that's going on in the world right now, I think about how we need to be even more aware today than ever about the value of our power, right? Our power, of course, my source is God. Don't misunderstand. I'm not telling you that money is powerful. That is not what I have to say. I am telling you that in this country, unfortunately, money is power, right? So when you understand that, you have to understand how to use your power. And that's what my post was about. I pretty much talked about supporting Black businesses, how it's important that we support each other. And I have an episode that I've already recorded about that. That's going to come out. It's about business. It's obviously, I'm always supporting Black business. But in that, I want to talk about the Black dollar. We have somehow been tricked into supporting brands and uplifting brands. And remember this, friends, I've talked about this before too. We create culture. Black people create culture. Pro-Black is an anti-white. I know I have to say this all the time because I have a lot of my white friends and friends of other cultures. And I hate to have to say that, but know that I love you. Pro-Black is an anti-white. I love you, but I am talking about me and my people. I'm a Black woman, so I can only speak from my experience. I can only speak from what I see. And I've seen what this country and other countries have done to my people, both in America, both in Haiti, and around the world, the Black and brown people. So I have to speak on it. That's my duty. So, watch the message, get the message, support the message, because it's not against you. It's for you. It's for our greater goodness. Um, so, in understanding that, Dapper Dan made Louis Vuitton and Gucci famous. Louis Vuitton and Gucci weren't really rocking with us. Dapper Dan took it and made it something that it is. And now we are the largest consumers of them. And now if you stop and really look at who owns these companies, and I said this back in July and I'm saying it again. I don't know this man personally, but now today I know that he supports Israel. He supports genocide. And I'm not saying don't support Israel, but don't. Okay. I was almost going to say, what you do. But if you're here, I'm telling you right now, the state of Israel is not what you should be supporting. That is not the Israel of the Bible. But I'm not going to talk about that in this episode. I'm going to talk about the love of money. Understanding what your dollar, not just your Black dollar, but what your dollar does for this economy. We've already been tricked into they use our tax money to fund war. The companies that we support can do whatever they want to do with the money we give them. And these companies are supporting genocide of people who look just like us, Black and brown people that look just like us. We can take that power away from them. Somebody said Starbucks, boycott Starbucks, and within minutes, Starbucks lost hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. So collectively, if we can all get on the same page and stop rocking with brands that don't rock with us, we would be golden. We can shift. We can turn the whole tide around. There's so many Black and brown businesses that can use our actual support. Chanel doesn't care about us. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, the entire LVMH family houses all of it. All of them. Every single brand that they support has supported genocide. And we just, oh, you got to have the new Chanel's a big supporter of it. P.S. A huge supporter of it. You got to have the latest because some influencer or some celebrity who also is motivated by greed, the love of money, promotes it. You've been tricked. Wake up. Become more aware. You have literally been tricked into believing that you have to have these labels in order to look like something special. Meanwhile, you have Black and brown designers who are creating equally beautiful. I've talked about this. I talked about it on that clip. Rich Fresh. He makes the same exact sweatsuit as Gucci, and he's at a high price point. And I saw people complaining, like, "Oh, how dare he? He makes a superior product. He should charge a superior price." I think I talked about this too in my business episode, so I don't want to get too far into it. I really want to stick to the dollar, but you have other Black designers, Lorraine West. She makes jewelry. Van Cleef. Again, they're a company that supports genocide. If you don't want to speak out and speak up about it publicly, that's fine. I understand. You have your stance, you have your reason. But if you know that your dollar, your powerful dollar can make a difference, why wouldn't you easily do that? That's an easy thing for us. These companies don't want to mess with us. These companies don't see the value in us. You can see that by how they treat the people. So now again, I'm gonna go into content creation. I don't know enough about it. I think it's a silly thing. But I don't want to get attacked for it. I'm not a content creator. I'm an artist. I'm a creator. I'm not a content creator. I don't make content. But I look at how unfairly they pay those people, right? You have the Black creators on TikTok or on Instagram kept not being paid, but they kept creating the trends. They kept creating the dances. They kept creating whatever it was. And then somebody with a different skin tone came on and did the same thing and they got paid top dollar. So I ask you, why do you support these companies? You don't have to be on TikTok. You don't have to be on Instagram. There are other apps where you can use your influence, your power to create the same type of buzz that you're looking for. We know that the love of money leads to greed, and we know that greed has led to the destruction of all things since the beginning of time. Look at Tulsa. Tulsa is a perfect example for us as Black people where we should be studying it and understanding it. In 1921, an entire Black community had figured out a way to create their own wealth, their own banking system, luxury goods, services, grocery stores. They had everything happening. And white people got so threatened by that they burned it down to the ground. And here we are, all these years later, 100+ years later, and we still haven't recreated that. Yes, there are more Black people who are wealthy. Don't misunderstand that. But we're not all thriving. And that is our problem. That is where we are mentally enslaved. That's where we lack awareness. We need to understand that money is just a tool. We should never covet, value, or idolize money. I do not ever promote, oh, do more of this so you can get more money. If God wants you to have more money, you're going to have more money, period. That's how that works. If you don't know how to treat money, you may not have it. If you know how to treat money, he's going to give it to you. But you need to know how to really treat it. You need to understand the collective purpose of us especially in our community. We need to understand our collective power. If you are somebody who grew up in an unfortunate circumstance in a situation, in a hood someplace, and it was like always you were always trying to figure out your next dollar in the day, but you figured it out early, and you were like, I'm going to get out of the situation. And I applaud everyone who does that. I want to get out of the situation. When you do get out of the situation, it is not for you to pack up and leave and literally move across the world. It is for you to, yes, you can get yourself out of the situation, so don't misunderstand that. You should not have to, because now you're a target, right? Like, this is, rappers have talked about this before. Like, now you become a target, so you can't stay. But what you should strive to do is, even though you get out, get some other people out. Figure out how to create programs to get other people out. You got out of the hood, figure out a way to get other people out. And even if not, you don't want to leave the hood, because I know a lot of people who have made it and who have been successful. They're like, I'm not leaving the hood. I get that too. Turn it around. You can gentrify your own hood, right? You can clean your own neighborhood. You can demand not just liquor stores and not just fast food restaurants, but more organic. You can demand a farmer's market. You can open a farmer's market. You can sell your community fresh fruits and vegetables. How about that? How about somebody buys a corner store, a grocery store or something, and instead of buying it to sell alcohol, partner with a black farm someplace across the world. Black farmers they're growing, I guess you can say. They're not a lot of them, but black farmers have something to sell you too. You can partner with ethical farms around the country, around the world if you want, and import some of these stuff and sell it to your neighborhood. We can clean our own neighborhoods up. Tulsa is a perfect example of that. We just choose not to because we're all mentally enslaved. And we're looking towards people to help us to figure that out. And I'm sorry to say this because I know I'm going to get some backlash for it, but it's not the churches. The churches are just as greedy as the greedy people, unfortunately. And it's so sad because you also get a tax break, church. You should be the biggest component of fixing the neighborhoods, of rebuilding the neighborhoods, of figuring out how we generate wealth so that we can clean our neighborhoods up. Because it's like a trickle effect, right? If you see one neighborhood doing it, it's almost like, oh, I want to do it too. That's just how it works in this country. No one's thinking on their own saying, oh, we need to do this. You might have some small communities here and there. And sure, people come together and they're like, oh, there's a food pantry and there's this. I'm talking about the value of the Black dollar. $1 trillion on goods and services. That should shake us to our core to figure out, why are there not more of us, wealthy billionaires, walking around that look like us? Because the few we have, they've shown us that they're just trash. I'm sorry. Your favorite person, and maybe your favorite person likes the color purple or something like that. I don't want to talk about anybody negatively, but what are they doing for communities? Honestly, that's an honest question. What are they doing to uplift the rest of us? How are they paying fairly? Are they choosing to work with people and companies that also have the same values and ethical, the moral values and ethically conscious as the rest of us? We are watching the world change right before our very eyes, and we're not even realizing we've been playing a part of it. A lot of us have been playing a part into what's happening, the crumbling of certain systems and structures. And I know a lot more things are going to start changing. But I want you to become aware now, the value of your dollar, and start making changes for yourself now. If not for anybody else, make it for yourself. The first step is here. The first step of change is always here. Change your mind, you can change your life. Once you change that, you can change what's happening in here, all through here, spiritually. And now you can turn around and say, hey, I want to help other people. I don't want to see other people mentally enslaved anymore. I want you to understand the value of your dollar. When I see people still buying into, and listen, I am also guilty of having always, having purchased and bought into the luxury world. I am a luxury service, right? Like my business is a luxury service. And I'm not saying we're not needed. And I'm not saying people should not have wealth or have money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't value it, don't covet it, and don't only work for it. Use money as a tool. You need it. We need it to get by, especially in this country. We need money to buy food. We need money to pay our bills. Yes. But we also should be spending our dollar in places that share our values, that share our moral values, that share our thoughts. As especially for the churches, as Christians, you should be speaking up the loudest. Black and brown people across the world are being terrorized. Not just in Palestine, in Congo, in Haiti, in Sudan, in Tigray, in Atlanta, in Texas, in New York. It happened in Tulsa. You think these things happen, and then years later, they're like, oh, we're so sorry. Oh, we're so sorry. We can stop that now. We can end that. You don't have to be sorry because we're changing the tides now. We can start saying, no, enough. We definitely need to stop allowing them to support genocide. We need to stop paying into Gucci, the entire LVMH brand. We are slowly watching an empire of a bad boy. Again, I don't want to use words, but it's hard. But we're watching that crumble. And you know what I say? It's about time. I said this before season 1. I think anybody without a moral compass is not a person we should be following. It's not a person we should be putting on a pedestal. Because if they'll do it to one person, they'll do it to you, and they don't care. This is we're watching the government slowly destroy an entire group of people, and they don't care, and they're banking on you not caring too, because they want you to keep feeding the machine, keep making money, keep selling, keep selling, keep selling. Somebody on TikTok said the only way that they're getting views is if they add something to pop it in the TikTok shop. And I was like, wow. And it's working. So more people are selling things through the TikTok shop. Do you understand the value of the dollar in this country? If we all said, no, I'm not spending my money with this anymore, but instead I'm going to spend my money here. LVMH also owns alcohol. They own wine labels, wine brands. I think Moet. I think Vouv. I think a lot of them. I think they own a lot of them. There are also Black people selling wine, believe it or not. Carmelo Anthony, one of my clients, he has a wine out. Support him. Help him get there. Because he is somebody who supports community. He's built courts around the world. He has ports in Puerto Rico. He's Puerto Rican. He gives back. He does those types of things. You know, he doesn't do them publicly. He doesn't do them for affirmations, because that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to, if you gain and you amass some sort of wealth, you are supposed to give back. That's how the system works. And that's how you continue to build your wealth. You can't just be like, oh, I got all this money and now I'm just going to buy a whole bunch of things and I'm going to live lavishly and I don't care about those people. It will never work. It will never work. Until you do right, all you do will go wrong. So you can get the money, sure. By hook or by crook, you can get the money, sure. Let's see how long you can keep it. Let's see how long it works for you. We need to turn the tides right now. Like, it's not, oh, give me 2-3 years to do this. No, we can stop buying these luxury goods from these people who do not care at all about us. And this goes for across industries. Meek Mill has gone on record in saying, and this is a perfect example, he's gone on record and said that record labels will pay him more money if he talks about guns, drugs, violence, and raping women. And Meek Mill has amassed his wealth off of that. So when somebody challenges him, and I think D1, who's a rapper, I think he's a Christian rapper, but nonetheless, D1 challenged him. He's literally said, I don't care what you're talking about. Him and Rick Ross, D1 challenged them in saying, like, change the lyrics of your music for our community, because we no longer, like, and the other bigger part of that is you don't even live that lifestyle anymore. Or do you? I don't know. Maybe you do. You don't live that lifestyle anymore. Why are you still rapping about it? How has rap not evolved? How has hip hop not evolved? I do have an episode about that too. Or writing. I think I wrote in my journal about it. I don't know. Sorry, I don't want to get too far into it. But the point is that, and he made millions of dollars off of it. And his whole give back idea is, well, I do social reform. I get people out of jail. How does that help the entire community, though? What are you doing to help your entire community? I'm all for getting people out of jail. Yes, I'm 100% for that. But what about the work that needs to be done within community that you can do through the lyrics of your music? So now you have gained this money in an unethical way, in a morally bankrupt way. You are fine to tell your community about guns, drugs, and violence. Instead, you should be telling, like, how you can build. You don't even have to spend $1 for the community. You could just rap about doing better. You can rap about being a better man to your community, for your community. And I'm not attacking Meek Mill, so please don't think that, because I think it's just perspective. And also, he came from a bad situation, so he had to do what he had to do. But now that you're here, how do you evolve and grow and say, you know what, let me give back? We need people who leave the hood to say, how do I go back to fix the hood? Because we also don't want the hood to be gentrified by other people. We don't want other people kicking our grannies out of their neighborhoods, do we? Don't we want them to stay in those neighborhoods so we can go back home? But home, we can change. We can literally change home. And we don't even try to do it because we work so hard on just changing ourselves. So the second you get a couple extra dollars, you got to have a Chanel bag or you got to have an Hermes bag. I see people literally going bankrupt for these things. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why? There's a guy on TikTok. I think his name is The Tannery or Leather Tan or something. I can't remember his name, but he deconstructs all these luxury bags. And he has literally said that all of these bags, the markup on these bags is insane. And the only reason people are paying these markup prices is because of the name. And it's because we made these names, us. We create culture. Everything you see on everything, everywhere around the world. People weren't wearing J's. We were wearing J's. J's are so famous. White kids, black kids, Asian kids, all the people, all the kids across the world wear J's. Dapper Dan did what he did, and now everybody has to have it. These brands do not really survive without us. Trust me. The only reason Chanel is able to go up year after year and mark up their prices is the way they're able to mark it up is because of us. Because our rappers rap about them. Because our singers sing about them. And nobody thinks on their own anymore. Nobody has their own thought processes. There are not too many critical thinkers anymore thinking like, just because your favorite rapper, your favorite singer has it, you don't need to have it. That's what they have. That's what they choose to have. Why not you as a person who chooses to be a better person in this world? We should all be choosing to be better people in the world that we're living in, the physical realm. We should all choose to help our neighbors. If I'm trying to be what is it following? And I'm going to use Cardi B as an example, but y'all know me and Cardi are cool. Like, I like Cardi. I know Cardi has her ups and downs in life and in situations, but I like Cardi. I like that she came from where she came from and she's still who she is, but she got a little bit of money now, right? But, I'm a just because Cardi B talks about having 22 Hermes bags, do you need to go have it? I would love to sit down and talk to her about why do you feel like you need to have those bags, right? That's just a token of having, that's a symbol of having money in a different way. Show me your true wealth by how you do for those people that, for those neighborhoods where you came from. And I do believe she does things for her community. She just doesn't talk about them. So FYI. But, there's a lot to be listened to, a lot to be learned. There's an African proverb that says spiders can tie up a lion if they got together. We, as Black people, can literally transfer wealth if we can just organize properly. And instead of buying into these institutions, these companies, and these places that do not support us, we bought into our own brands and our own labels and our own banks. I know there have been some Black people who tried to create banking systems, and I don't know why they haven't worked. I do remember the Jay Morrison thing. And again, anything I say is not to speak negatively of people, unless I say something negative. It's just to be more of an awareness. I really want us to start being more aware. Awareness changes everything. It's more of an awareness. But I know Jay Morrison had started the I think Tulsa something fun, ironic, right? And people bought into it, lots of people, and he sold it and he did a good job at selling. He's a good salesperson, I will say that. But I know that also all these years later, nothing has come from it. And people have said something to him, and people have said, and he denies, and he's like, if you know stocks, it takes a couple of years. Yeah, of course. Anything takes time. Anything that's worth it should take time. However, I also know that he has tried to do all the things by himself, and I think that's where he failed. You need to have people to build something that big. It can't just be you. We need to have the person to come up with the dream, right? So you start with the dreamer, and then now you start figuring out, well, how do I need to get to that dream point? What do I need to do? You have to have all the architects and all the players. Nobody can build anything like that alone. And anytime something is built, anytime you see billionaires building their money, especially off of a capitalist system, it's never going to work. It's always going to crumble. The reason why Tulsa worked is because not one person was like, I'm going to have all the money and I'm going to hoard it. No, they were like, okay, I'm going to start a bank. I got the money. So now let me start a banking system. If enough millionaires came together, we can actually start a banking system that would work for our people. And you would then still be financially wealthy and successful, but you would also help build other people. We know that banks are actual scams, right? We know the lottery system is a scam. Everything is a scam created to fuel the economy, and we are the biggest part of it. $1 trillion in goods and services should make you stop and say, wow, like, and what do you have to show for it? A couple of bags? Some cute outfits with somebody else's brand all over it? And don't misunderstand what I'm saying. We do not need any more clothes. Like, understand, overconsumption. The fashion industry is like out of control. There's too many clothes. We don't need any more people selling t-shirts. We need black plumbers, black architects, general contractors, painters, electricians. We need more of that in our community, because that's how we build. Those things are services that are needed. They're also services where people really do take advantage of other people. For years, I know people, especially Northeast, you have the few HVAC companies that have been doing things. You got Gold Medal. What's that other big company? My sister used them once, and I was like, don't use them. Oh, Horizon. You have these companies that literally just wanted to sell you things. A friend of mine from high school, I randomly was searching online. I was looking for somebody to handle my HVAC. I Google searched Black owned HVAC companies, and a friend of mine from high school popped up. And he was a little bit farther away, so I'm out of his range, but he was like, I'll come take a look at it, whatever. We need more of that. We need more people building HVAC companies, plumbing companies. The trades are where there is a lot of money. We can build real wealth while also being honest. We can build homes. We can do all of that stuff, but we need to get out of the mental trap that we're in. We really do. We're in a mental trap in believing that we do not have as much power as we have. We have more power collectively than we can even imagine. This country runs on money, just like it runs, people run on Dunkin'. America runs on, no, America runs on money. Money is what fuels this entire country. If we understood the value of our dollar, we would understand how we can create the change that we want to see finally. And also shut down things that we want to see stop happening, right? Like, we want an end to the genocide of the people of Congo, Sudan, Tigray, Haiti, Palestine, obviously, always, but also in our own country here in America. We're still dying at the hands of hate and racism and greed. The love of money is greed. Money should be used as a tool to get what you need and to help correct things. I'm never going to tell you not to live a nice life. I like nice things. Trust me. I am with you on that. I like nice things too. But I also want to see other people not in the streets, not living, in poverty. Anything else is greed. We can't be greedy right now, friends. We can't be greedy right now. We need to get together collectively and understand our power and take it back. They stole it from us a long time ago. They stole it from us a whole long time ago. And they stole it from us again in 1921 when they burned down an entire town, because they knew, they understood, if people find out about this group of people, this will kill us, because they will stop paying into our systems and stop lining our pockets and stop making us wealthy while they make each other wealthy. And we can make each other wealthy in the right way, because we know we're not greedy. We know we're not trying to sabotage people. We know we're not trying to kill people. We know collectively we're all just trying to survive. We're also some of the most giving people, because when things happen in the world, Black people give too. Trust me, we give too. But we have to use our proper resources, and we have to find better quote unquote leaders, because I feel like we are literally watching people that we have labeled as leaders, we have thought to be leaders, bring us straight down. And this is embarrassing, and it's sad for us as a community. I've been saying how sad I am that our community is not speaking up more for all these oppressive systems that are happening around the world, because we were part of it at one point. We're still part of it. Who am I kidding? We're still kind of part of it. Let this be your awakening, your awareness moment where you start to say, you know what? I do not need these labels. These labels need me. Because that's the truth. The labels need us. We don't need them. We got to be smarter, friends. And we have to support each other. And let me tell you something about support, especially in the Black business. And I already talked. I promise you, this other episode about business is equally important. So I'm probably going to repeat some of this stuff, because you'll probably hear it on that. But I recorded that a while back. I'm just kind of very focused right now. Within our own ecosystem, it is so important that we support each other and we show up for each other the same way we show up for Gucci when they drop something, Louis Vuitton when they drop something, Dior. Y'all will run out and buy these things, but you won't support your friend who's doing something just like that. You'll pay top dollar for things made by and for other people, but for your own communities, you won't even repost anything. You won't share anything. You won't like anything. You won't buy their things. That's weird to me. I mostly support Black business. I don't know if you know, but I was featured on Architectural Digest with one of my clients, Carmelo Anthony. And I take so much pride in that project because I literally only sought out Black and brown businesses to work with on the work that we did do, that you did see, because it's not complete. And that's a topic for another day, but they kind of dropped the ball on not sharing that. That was like phase one. We used to have so many phases to go, but hey, they shot it. I have it. It was a goal of mine. I reached it. I don't need to do it again. But that is a perfect example of how people can, like, I chose to literally go after Black and brown businesses for the entire project. Painters, the HVAC company, Good Deeds, a whole bunch of people. Like, everybody I chose to work on that project was somebody, who looked like me. And that was important to me. And that should be important to all of us. And it doesn't mean that we're anti-white. So, there might be things that you have to do with other people. That's okay. That's understandable. But when there's somebody who looks like you doing it, support them. Share their company name. Say their name in rooms where they might not be in. They might not have a chance to step foot into. If they're sharing something on social media, repost it, share it, tag their company. What's so hard about that? You can do it for every other goofy meme. You could do it for the gossip stuff. You could do it for all, like, the gossip. That stuff spreads like wildfire, but companies, nobody hears about them. I feel like social media should have been used for more like an ad type of situation system. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to go too far into it, but we need to understand the value of the Black dollar, and we also need to understand how to properly use it, how to dismantle systems with it, how to take away from the people who are not supporting, how to take it away from the people who are not supporting us and put it into the people who look like us, who we know hopefully support us. Because I guess all skin folk ain't kinfolk too. So there's that. So you got to kind of do a little bit of research. But if we can create a new economy where we can generate these dollars amongst ourselves, through ourselves, and help to build a different type of economy, not a greedy one, I think we can change the world. To be honest with you, I really do. Because right now, greed is winning. Greed is winning. Just look around. Greed is winning. And it's unfortunate. It really is. Anyway, I don't want to go on too long. Thank you as always for listening. If you want to support me, the biggest way you can support me is by resharing this. You can post it if you want someplace. I don't know where. I mean, I have videos. This is a video on YouTube, and I might take a clip or something and share it someplace. But I don't do all that pandering because I just don't want to. My streaming on like Spotify and Apple and all the places where the audio is great. Like these numbers, the numbers have been going up. They've been climbing. Even while I was on break, I was watching the numbers go up. So that is exciting. So thank you to the people who support me in that way and share. Leave reviews, leave comments on my podcast pages, leave reviews someplace, wherever you can find Curated by Culture. Please do that, because that's how we build, that's how we spread this message, and that's how we organize. Malcolm X has said that before. It's not that we can't, it's just that we have no organization to do it. We need to organize better. And if it just comes down to a couple of people hearing this message and saying, you know what, she's right, and creating the architect, creating the program and choosing the architects of the program, we can build something amazing with our $1 trillion. I don't even think banks have that kind of money. Banks are like a system of loaning and this and that. I don't even think banks have that, because if everybody took their money out of the banks would crash. They rely on our dollars. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you as always for listening. I love you, Ma, and it's free Palestine until Palestine is free.